quadratic equation. In our last video, we have considered linear equation. Now we want to consider quadratic equation. If they say that a quadratic equation is an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a, b, c are constants. When they are talking about quadratization, we mean when the highest power of that variable is 2, as you can see 2 here. So we have what we call quadratic equation. Quadratic equation exists in two forms or two types. The first one is complete quadratic equation. Complete quadratic is of this form: x squared minus a. A is a number. We say that a is a number, meaning constant. Or we write it as x squared plus a. Now let's consider examples on this. The first one, we have x squared is equal to 9. How do we solve this? When we have this relationship, x squared equal to 9, what you do is you just transfer this square to the other side. It becomes square root. So our answer will be s is equal to square root of 9. But because we are transferring square to the other side, and there are two numbers that can give me 9. We know normally 3 square will give me 9, and minus 3 all square will give me 9. So in that case, you must include plus or minus there, so that our answer is equal to plus or minus square root of 9 will give me 3. So s is equal to plus or minus, that is s is 3 or s is minus 3. Now if we consider another one, s squared equal to 4. It's just like this. So what you just do, you just say s is equal to square root of 4. Then you put plus or minus. You must always put it there. So our answer is plus or minus square root of 4 will give me 2. So it's just as simple as ABC when we are dealing with complete quadratic equation. Let's consider another important one. 2x squared minus 32 is equal to 0. The first thing is we collect the like terms. In our linear equation, I'll take this minus 32 to the other side, so it will become 32. This is 0. It has no significance. Now, what you do is you divide both sides by 2. S is equal to 32 divided by 2. S squared is equal to 16. So it is now in this form. How do we now find our s? We just say s is equal to plus or minus root of 16. And root of 16 will give me 4. So our answer to this question is s is equal to plus or minus 4. And finally, when we have s squared is equal to 25, like that, you will just say s is equal to this, plus or minus first, then square root of 25. Then s is equal to plus or minus 5, because square root of 25 will give me 5. In the case whereby you cannot find the square root, you just leave the answer like that. So this is our answer. What this thing simply means is s is equal to 5 or s is equal to minus 5. That is what it means. Now let's consider the second type. We have affected quadratic equation, which is this. Is affected quadratic equation. How do we treat this type of quadratic equation? We use, for analytical method, we use 3 prominent methods that is generally acceptable. So the methods are: 1, completing the square, quadratic formula, and factorization method. We still have graphical method, which we are not going to consider in this video, but let's consider these 3 analytical methods. I'll start with, in this video, I'll first consider completing the square. In another video, I'll consider this, and in another video, I will consider this. So let's move to interaction. Method of completing the square. I will explain this method in the following examples. Example 1. Solve for s in this equation. To use method of completing the square, on the left hand side, we need only this. So in that case, we need to transfer this one to the other side. So solution, I'll first retain x squared plus 2x equal to, I'll take this constant to the other side. This is minus 8. When it gets to the other side, it becomes ordinary 8. Now, how do we now complete the square of a quadratic equation, quadratic expression? Now, you consider the coefficient of x, which is this. This is what you consider. You look for half of this coefficient of x, but coefficient of x here is 2, and half of 2 is 1. So what you do is, let me put our 8 here. What you now do is you add 1 square. You add 1 square to it. As you have added 1 square to this side, you must add 1 square to this side too, to make it a complete equation, because 1 square was not there before. Now, to now complete the square of this, you take this one, you take this sign that is here, you take this thing that you have added, which is 1, you open bracket, close it, you put square here, because everything here is just this one is equal to 8. This is 1 square. 1 square is same thing as 1. So 8 plus 1, that is 9. It is now in form of our complete quadratic equation. So what you do now is you take this square, just like what we have been doing here. As you can see, we are having plus or minus. Something like this is what has happened. I will just say x plus 1 equal to, you take this square to the other side. Don't forget I said you must put square plus or minus, is square root of 9. X plus 1 equal to plus or minus square root of 9 will give me 3. Now, from that place, this is plus 1. You take it to the other side, it will become minus 1. Don't forget there is plus or minus, so let me put my plus or minus 3 there. And what this thing simply means, what it simply means is s is equal to minus 1 plus 3, or s is equal to minus 1 minus 3. So minus 1 plus 3 will give me 2. Minus 1 minus 3 will give me minus 4. So that is our answer. Let's consider another example. We have another example. If s squared minus 8s is equal to 15, we want to find the value of s. This is a quadratic equation. I told you the first two are necessary. So solution, I'll first retain these first two, 8s squared minus 8s. Then you need to take this one to the other. This is plus 15. And you take it to the other side, it will become minus 15. Let's take note of that. Now, we now need to complete the square of this side. How do you complete it? I said you will consider this 8, the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x, whatever that is there, you consider it. You look for half of that, half of 8. Half of 8 is 4. Then you add 4. So consider the coefficient of s, which is 8, and the half is 4. So you add 4 squared to both sides. So you add 4 square. As I've added 4 square here, I will add 4 square. Suppose it's something like this too. Let's say s square minus 16s. So what I will have added is what? Is 8 square, because half of 16 is 8. Now, this, to complete the square, open a bracket, put squared. Put x, the sign, put 4, what you are adding. This one, this is minus 15 plus 4 square will give me 16. So what we are having there is minus 4 all squared equal to minus 15 plus 16, that is 1. So it has led to the complete quadratic equation. We take this to the other side. When we take it to the other side, you must first add square plus or minus, because we are taking square root to the other side. Then you now say square root of 1, just like the way we have been doing. plus or minus square root of 1 will give me 1. Now from this place I will take this minus 4 to the other side. That will become plus 4. I am transferring minus 4 to the other side. It will become plus 4. Then followed by this plus or minus 1. What this thing means is s is equal to 4 plus 1, or s is equal to 4 plus 1, 4 minus 1, 4 minus 1. So s is equal to 5 here, or s is equal to 4 minus 1, 3. So these are the two values of s. So let's consider another one for better understanding. Another example, we want to find the value of x here. As usual, you must retain these two. This is s squared minus 4x equal to, when this one goes to the other side, it becomes 12. Now, we'll consider the coefficient of s, which is 4. So, you look for half of that 4. So, half of 4 is 2. So, you must add 2 squared to it. To this side too, you must add 2 squared. So, generally, it should be something you should be playing with. Let's say s squared plus 6s. What I should add is 3 squared, because 3 is half of 6. Let's say you have another one, 2s squared plus 8x. What I should add is 4 squared. You have another one, s squared plus 10 squared plus 10s. What I should add is 5 squared, which is half of s. That is just the trick behind it. So as you can see, what I'm adding is 2 squared, because half of 4 is 2. So from that place, I'll collect the I'll complete the square. I'll take this. Any sign that if it is plus or minus, just put it. But minus is there. The 2 that you are adding, put it there. You write it like this, equal to 12 plus 2 squared, that is 4. This is s minus 2 squared equal to 12 plus 4 will give me 16. From that place, all you do is you take the square to the other side. It will be square root of 16. Don't forget there must be plus or minus. This is s squared equal to s minus 2 is equal to plus or minus. Square root of 16 will give me 4. From this place, I'll transfer this minus 2 to the other side, so that it becomes plus 2. This is minus 2 when it comes here, and then what is there before? From this place, we have 2 plus 4, or s is equal to, we say 2 plus 4, or s is equal to 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4. 2 plus 4 will give me 6. 2 minus 4 will give me minus 2. So that is our answer. Let's consider another important one. We have been considering a number that has that you can easily find the half. Let's consider a number that we cannot find the half. S squared plus 5s plus 6 equal to 0. As usual, I must retain this first two. This is s squared plus 5x. This will go to the other side. That is minus 6. Now, what I'm adding now, half of 5. What is half of 5? Half of 5 is 2.5. Isn't it? Yes, it is. Now, but we cannot leave it as this. You leave it as a normal fraction, normal proper or improper fraction. Now, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1, that is 5 over 2. So that is what I will add to both sides is 5 over 2 all square, or simply 2.5 square. 2.5 square means 5 over 2 all square. So in this case, we have this plus this plus, instead of 2.5 square, I will have said 5 over 2, put all square there, which is equal to minus 6. Whatever I've added to this, you must add it to this too. 5 over 2 all squared. I will now complete the square of this side. Don't forget, open 2 bracket, put square. First put x, put the given sign, which is plus. What you are adding is 5 over 2, or 2.5. is 5 over 2 all squared is equal to minus 6 plus. Don't forget, this thing simply means 5 squared over 2 squared. 5 squared will give me 25 divided by 2 squared will give me 4. So we need to simplify this side. This is s plus 5 over 2 squared equal to, let's simplify this. If I find the LCM here, let's say this over 1, LCM is 4. 1 is 4 is 4. 4 times this is minus 24 plus 4 in 4 is 1. 1 times 25, that is 25. What we now have there is 1 divided by 4, because minus 24 plus 25, that is 1 divided by 4. So as usual, you transfer this square to the other side. This is s plus 5 over 2 equal to, don't forget you must first put square root before you put 1 over square root of whatever that is there. So this is s plus 5 over 2 equal to plus or minus square root of 1 is 1 over square root of 4, that one is 2. So what do we now do here? I need to transfer this one to the other side. This is plus 5 over 2. When it goes to the other side, it becomes minus 5 over 2, then, and this one plus or minus half. As you have known, what will be next? What will be next will be minus 5 over 2 plus 1 over 2, or s is equal to minus 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. This plus this. This is easy to do. Minus 5 plus 1 divided. They have the same denominator. So I'll just operate the numerator. Minus 5 plus 1. That is minus 4 over 2. This one too. Minus 5 minus 1. That is minus 6 over 2. Minus 4 over 2 will give me minus 2. Minus 6 over 2 will give me minus 3. So therefore, s is equal to minus 2 or s is equal to minus 3. So that is that about quadratic equation using completing the square method. You can practice the following. So practice the following. This number 1, number 2, and all this. For these first two, you observe that the ones we have been doing, they don't have anything here. For instance, I have 2s squared minus 5s plus 2 equal to 0. Since there must be nothing in this place, you need to first divide both sides by these 2. That is, you say this over 2, this over 2, this over 2, this over 2. So that this cancels this, I will have s squared minus 5s over 2 plus 2 over 2 will give me 1. 0 over 2 will give me 0. So it is now in form of what we have been doing. There's nothing here. So as usual, you retain this. S squared minus 5 over 2 equal to, when this one goes to the other side, we have minus 1. So you can continue. So the problem you cannot face here is that how do you find the, because you want to find the half of 5 over 2. That is what you want to find. You want to find the half. What is half of 5 over 2? This is it. Half of 5 over 2. And that will be 5 over 4. That is 1 times 5, 5. 1, 2 times 2, 4. So what you are adding to both sides there is 5 over 4, all squared. So that is that about that. Let's say you're having something of this nature too. Let's say 3s squared plus 4s plus 2 equal to 0. Since there's nothing there, you must first divide both sides by 3. There must be nothing here. So this is 4 over 3 x 2 over 3 equal to 0. I have divided both sides by 4 over 3. So that there's nothing. I have divided both sides by 3. So that there's nothing in this place again. As you can see, this over 3, this over 3, 0 over 3 is 0. You take this to the other side so that you have s squared plus 4s over 3 equal to minus 2 over 3. So what you now want to face is, how do you find half of 4 over 3? It's simply half of 4 over 3. So this is simply 4 over 6. Just multiply the denominator 2 by 2 to the denominator. 2 times 3 is 6. So what you are adding to both sides is 4 over 6 squared. So that will help you in solving all this. So we'll meet in another video for another method of quadratic equation. Have a nice day.